Okay, we're back. December 28th, 2022. Loddy and Max, Sports on the Cul-de-sac. Today's episode brought to you by Skygazer Brewing. Our sponsors in the house tonight. Part of a large contingent studio audience. Loddy.
Loddy.
Angry Jay.
I'm always angry.
The commish, and always the Don Father. This week we're going to start off with baseball.
Mixing it up?
Yeah, we're gonna switch things up. Start with what is going on with Correa?
Nobody knows. What's the most recent report? I mean,
He's really hurt, and people are giving him a lot of money for a lot of years.
Actually, I saw the Mets said they're going to try to work it out with him. That's all I heard.
They're going to try to what? Like renegotiate the contract that they just gave him?
I don't know, but like, let me ask you guys something right away. Like, is it something? It's got to be something serious because if he flunked the Giants physical, and now the Mets are. I mean, they offered him what 12 for like a 320 or something, 310.
Yeah, so he fails the exam with the Giants, and the Mets picked him up 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
I haven't even failed my physical. Passed that thing with flying colors.
Yeah, I've never heard of such a thing. What's going on right now with him?
Would you guys take him at a discount?
Oh, absolutely. Third base. He said he would play third base. You wouldn't take him for.
I could
for
care
Donaldson?
less about the money. I wouldn't. It's got to be short years, though.
He's way too young for the Red Sox.
Are they going to have a varsity squad? What are they doing?
They got a Kluber today.
They lost Evaldi?
Yeah, we just were working on a contract with Cologne right now.
Who'd they get today?
Corey Kluber.
Bartolo Colon? He'd fit in.
Youth movement.
Boy, they really care about baseball up there in Boston.
Celtic season, baby. Celtic season.
Sicko signs. Give me a break. All right. Rangers are spending.
Yeah, another pitcher. Evaldi.
Valdi, what, 2 for 37? Something like that?
Yeah, 34. I thought it was 34.
34? Yeah.
That's a good contract, 2 years, you know? See what happens.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Throw him there 100.
How about Atlanta? They got the catcher from Oakland, sign him for 6 years, short money. They lock up all their young guys.
All their guys are
for,
lined up,
for
yeah.
like reasonable contracts on their end. I'm assuming the player union is not thrilled about what's going on down there, but talk about building a team the right way. Got all their young guys are locked up for 6-7 years and not crazy contracts, unlike some of the other stuff that's been going on in the winter meetings. These 12-year deals, like what's going on with these 10, 11, 12-year deals? It's unheard of.
Great GM down there. Hey, who's the hottest GM right now in the big leagues?
Who the heck knows? Where is he? Where is he sleeping tonight?
Well, he's looking for a left fielder. He's currently turning over rocks, seeing if he could find one under a rock. But we let them all go.
Yeah, we didn't get any of them. It sounds like Cabrera.
Stay hot,
Right?
Cash.
No, it'll be Hicks.
Hicks or Cabrera's going to, yeah.
It'll be Hicks.
It will be Hicks.
Jeez.
I don't know if we can watch it again.
Enough baseball.
Yeah,
Guys,
enough.
get on YouTube. We're almost at the 200 mark. Twitter, LodMac_Yanks. On the gram, Loddy _Mac _Sports. We're going to move into our snake draft segment, but before we do, we're going to be talking about running backs. One of the all-time great running backs that I served a hot dog to once when I was working at Lake Compounds took a turn for the worse and left us last week. Franco Harris, one of our studio guests. You guys have heard him. Mike Croc. What a crock. That was pretty corny. All right. Croc's a big Steeler fan, and he wants to pay a little homage to Franco Harris. Crocker?
Well, let's get the easy ones out of the question. Number 32. Number 32 retired 4 days ago. One of 3 Steelers to have it retired. It was him, Mean Joe Green, and some offensive lineman in the 50s, Stednecki or something like that, I think his name was, before my time. Let's see, the stats. Out of Penn State in 72, 13 seasons in the NFL, only one of which was with Seattle. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Peyton Man of the Year. 4 totals championships. We all go to our championships around here.
Yeah, break.
Number 9, number 10, 13, and 14. So what a career. Steelers Nation lost a good one.
Croc, it's a sad day for Steeler Nation. Thomaston girls coach Brian Moslak probably feeling the same way. On his way here to be part of the studio audience, I believe. Angry.
Did you guys see the halftime thing honoring Franco?
No.
Yep.
They showed on the NFL Network like the just a little bit, and then they went to show the video thing, and they just left it. Like, is that me, or is that just a poor job by the NFL?
I think they stayed hot.
Well, let's get it straight. It was a catch. There's no doubt about it. You may have been able to slip a piece of paper between the ball and the field, but it was a catch.
The Immaculate what?
That ball was about as far off the ground as Phil Mickelson when he jumped after he won the Masters. About 2 inches off the ground before he caught that.
I actually got a chance to ask him about that catch or non-catch. He came to the AquaTurf years ago. He's a businessman afterwards. He was doing some of the lunches for kids in different school systems, and I got a chance to ask him about it. I said, catch all the way, which I wouldn't doubt, but, what else is he going to say?
But did you see the way that game ended, by the way, that night on the 50th anniversary? It was one of the best endings of a game all year. I mean, that was an unbelievable ending. Pick-ins, it was awesome. It was a great game. Way to go out and honor him.
Seems to happen that way. When you're attributing somebody, it's always a big game with the home team coming out at the end, which is nice. It was nice to see.
Gotta love the Steelers.
Why?
I hate the Steelers. I'm a Cowboy fan.
Here's one for you. Well, here's one for you. What was the final score of the game?
The Immaculate
13-10.
Reception game?
Yeah.
16-13?
12-7?
13-7.
13-7?
I said 13-10, I guess. I was wrong. Should have had that in my notes.
Hey, what an iconic video play. It's like the catch. You know,
The what?
the catch.
Get outta
the
here.
Immaculate Reception. The fumble by Biner. I mean,
The helmet catch.
the helmet catch. The drive against the Browns. Need I go on?
Please do.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking about running backs from 1980 on. Snake draft time. I'm going to go first.
You're going first this time?
You should go
Shocker.
first this time.
I think Commish should go first.
Who wants to go first?
Commish, you go first.
No, we went 1, 2, 3. Or unless you want to go. We'll go reverse.
Angry Jay, this is going to be a problem. That means I'm fourth. Loddy, you will have 2 picks.
We'll pick.
After you, I
we'll-
get 2 picks.
Then it will go back to me.
Okay, I got it.
We'll point to you. Snake
So
draft.
after Bobby Mack, I got 2.
Angry
I'm with
Jay,
you.
go.
It's like a snake, Lottie. Goes.
All right,
Okay,
so
understood.
a lot to choose from. I'm going to go with a guy who won 1 MVP, 10 seasons played, 10 Pro Bowls, 6 first team All Pros, 15,269 yards. I'm going to go the best running back I've ever seen, Barry Sanders, in person.
I agree.
Incredible runner. The young guys, we haven't seen him. Like, just YouTube him. Just YouTube his highlights. They're all, he's one of the guys I can't get enough of watching. Him, Earl Campbell, and Gale Sayers are 3 guys I can watch highlights.
I know the
same ones
Cowboys
over
lineman
time.
didn't see him on Thanksgiving that one run.
Angry Jay. Not a great offensive line. And who's the best quarterback he ever played with?
Scott
I mean,
Mitchell.
that's how bad that team was.
Scott Mitchell? Yeah,
And
probably.
that's. Imagine if he had a decent team around him. Yeah, great pick. You can't go wrong with that one.
Mac, I'm going to go with Sweetness. Walter Payton, best known for the 85 Bears Super Bowl shuffle, but second all-time rushing yards, 4th in touchdowns, 6 in yards per carry, 9 Pro Bowls, 5 All-Pro selections, MVP, and just a class act all the way around. I mean, they named a Man of the Year award after him. So
Best quarterback he ever played with.
McMahon.
You know that. All right, what was his brother's name?
Eddie.
Yep. Commish.
The commission's going to go with the all-time leading rusher in NFL history, Emmitt Smith.
Ah, my guy.
Yeah, Emmitt. 15 years and bit of a compiler, but we'll take him.
Compiler.
I got one,
Yeah.
huh? Oh, boy. I got to go LT. I got to go Ladanian. One of the best fantasy running backs of all time. Finished his career with the lowly Jets.
Yeah.
Jets.
Still productive,
Jets.
though.
He was
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. But I'm going to go LT all day. Classy guy, hard runner. Go Lottie. You have 2.
I got 2. I'm going with the guy that wore the goggles. I'm going with
Kareem?
Eric Dickerson. 11 years.
Or Bobby in Little League, maybe.
Relax.
First team All-Pro 5 times.
It was after Little League.
Had over 2,100 yards in one season. Still a record for the NFL. 13,000 yards, 90 touchdowns. I mean, the stats are the stats. But strength, speed, elusiveness, kind of like the first of his kind, I think, in the early 80s. Went to SMU with, who was his backfield mate at SMU?
Craig James.
Craig James. So
What
I'll
was
go
their name? They had a nickname, the 2.
Pony Express.
Pony
Pony
Express.
yeah.
They weren't paying players there.
that program
Awesome
was
nickname.
very, it was on the up and up down there in
Next.
Dallas. And
Next.
even though this guy only played 8 years, I mean, they ripped the jersey off him and he would still keep running.
You're a jerk.
Earl Campbell.
Good pick.
Only 8 years though, but it was a different game back then, right? The running backs were more well known than some of the quarterbacks on their teams, and the wide receivers. Running backs were the thing in the 80s especially. So I'm pretty confident with those two picks.
Guys, YouTube the highlight videos of Earl Campbell. I used to love it. His head would go down and into the chest of the would-be tackler.
A lot of Dolphins went flying.
And the tackler would go flying.
Yeah.
You guys ever see the picture of all the Heismans, all the living Heismans, and he's in a wheelchair?
Yeah.
Pretty sad, but that's how hard he ran.
Yeah, nickname for this guy? I mean, no.
He was the Tyler Rose.
Yes, nicely done.
Yep.
Nicely done.
All right. Loddy taking all my guys.
You want me to go again?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to go another fantasy stud. And I'm not a fan of his parenting, but I'm going to go all-day AP. Adrian Peterson. I got LaDainian and AP. I think fantasy-wise, I'm winning. Commish.
The commission's going to pick with the numbers. Thurman Thomas. 12 seasons, best season 1992, 1,500 yards, and 9 touchdowns.
He didn't even have a helmet the first play of the Super Bowl.
Remember that Super Bowl against the Giants, how good he was, though? When Norwood missed the kick?
Remember the 3 against the Cowboys?
Yeah.
We all do.
But against the Giants in that Super Bowl, he was phenomenal. Probably the best player on the field.
I'm going on to, I think, probably the best fantasy player along with LT of all time, Marshall Faulk. I mean, he had 7,000 receiving yards from scrimmage in 12 years, 19,000 yards from scrimmage, 4th all time, 2,190 yards from scrimmage, and 26 touchdowns in one season. His best year. Marshall Faulk is a stud, and I take him on my team any day.
He
Greatest
had
show on
almost
turf.
800. He had almost 800 catches out of the backfield.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
What was his first team?
Colts?
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Angry man.
You guys murdered me. Oh, wow. All right. I'm going to go with, I'm going to stay off of the fantasy thing, and I'll just go with great players. And I mentioned them, I think it was last week. One Marcus Allen of the Oakland/Los Angeles Raiders. Just phenomenal all-around player. And winner. There you go.
When you said murder, I thought you were going to take a guy from the 70s.
Marcus
boy.
Allen, I loved him. I feel like I saw all his games at USC and then all his professional games. He was smooth. I'm up, right, boys?
Wrong.
All right.
No, actually, me. I'm coming back, right?
Yeah.
You coming back?
Yeah.
Lottie, it's unreal.
You're screwing everybody up. still.
Well, Angry Jay thought it was my turn, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something
All right.
about that side of the studio.
All
The
right.
West Wing.
Stupido.
Well, I'll go back to the fantasy thing since you guys brought it up. An underrated stud out of the University of Miami. None other than one Edgerrin James. Phenomenal runner, phenomenal receiver. So we'll go with Edgerrin James, 3rd overall pick for my squad.
My next pick was, I wanted to take him, but I can't just because I despise the team so much. So I'm sticking with a fantasy theme. I'm going to go with Sean Alexander. 8 straight 1,100-yard seasons, 1,880 rushing yards, and 27 rushing touchdowns in 2005. 7th all-time in rushing touchdowns. And if he didn't get hurt, like a lot of these guys, Earl Campbell's, a lot of these guys, his numbers would have been, they could have been untouchable if he stayed healthy. But I'm going with Sean Alexander.
Number?
Yep.
What number? Yep. Listen to this guy.
24?
Not even close.
There was a 6 in it, wasn't there?
37. or
24 is how many
37.
touchdowns he had.
37.
37. What a boy. Commish.
For my next pick, I'm going with the bus. A big back, a bruising back, ran people over rather than running around them. Jerome Bettis.
From?
Notre Dame.
Number at Notre Dame?
6.
I have one. I'm going to go. Keep taking my guys here. I got to go Jamal Lewis. Jamal Lewis, another rugged guy. Is he a Brown, too? Is he a Brown?
For a day.
Yeah.
Then I think he tore his ACL.
Yeah, most of his damage with the Ravens. Jamal Lewis, dangerous runner. Lottie, you have 2.
This might surprise you. I just really liked him not with the Pats. I liked him more or less with the Jets. Curtis Martin.
My favorite Curtis Martin.
Yeah, 14,000 career yards, 90 touchdowns. It was Parcells' favorite all-time player. He kind of followed Bill and got the Jets to the AFC Championship game that year. So I'll go Curtis Martin, and I have to do this because it's personal. He was my first favorite football player, TD, Tony Dorsett.
Great pick.
Only played 11 years. Obviously, we know him as a Cowboy, but what team did he retire with?
Broncos?
Yes, for 1 year. 13,000 yards, 90 touchdowns. We remember the 99-yarder against the Vikings on a Monday night. When Monday night was a big deal. But the toss sweep, and he was just so smooth. It felt like he never got hit hard, right? He was just, he was slippery. He was good. Pitt. So I'll go TD.
Killing me.
You had
because on my radar the whole time, but now I got to take somebody I don't want to, but a truck. I got to take a truck, and I could picture Cowboys just falling off this guy on the way to the end zone. None other than Jets and Redskins great. John Riggins.
Yep.
Where'd he go? Stanford?
That's a good question.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
All right,
He was
we'll
a
get
Diesel.
back to you on that.
Diesel was his nickname.
Commish.
Angry Jay's going to like this one. I'm going with one Ricky Waters. Big season for the Eagles in 1996, Jay. Remember that?
Yeah. Ray Rhodes quartered him from the 49ers.
Should have won a Heisman.
According to Ricky, yes, he should have won the Heisman.
Spelling of his name is a little weird. 2 T's.
Yep.
I'm going with what I think. Do I want to go the ultimate compiler? I am. I got to go with Frank Gore. I mean, he's third all-time in rushing yards. Third all-time. 16 games in 6 straight seasons for a running back is unbelievable. Again, third all-time rushing yards, 5 Pro Bowls, 9 1,000-yard seasons. I mean, you can be a compiler, but as a running back, you still got to be good. So I'm going at Frank Gore for my final pick.
I was looking at him, too. You see his career games? 241 career games.
Yeah, he was
as a
he's
running
been
back.
around
Is that a record for a running back?
I can't imagine that it's not. I mean, you guys can tell me.
School?
We could research
Miami.
it. There's another Kane, yeah.
I read something about like him missing no high school practices and maybe 1 college practice or something like that. Something crazy.
Just
Would
like
make
Jonathan
sense.
Taylor, same thing.
All right, so there's still a ton of guys to go. And I'm going to pick one who did not have a very long career, only rushed for 2,782 yards, but he is the best athlete I've
You're
ever
going
seen.
Bo. You love
I'm going
Bo.
Bo Jackson. He was phenomenal. Phenomenal
Yeah.
player. Short career,
Can't
but if we're
dispute
just
that.
asking who the best running backs are, one Vincent Edward Jackson.
Who are you taking next? Josh Jacobs?
No, why would they do that?
Mix in a Raider.
They had 2 really good running backs.
Allen was a fantasy stud when he was a Chief, too.
He was.
Yeah.
He was a phenomenal player.
Touchdown sniper.
1 yard line, yep.
Yeah. All right, so I think I wrapped it up with a W. LT, All Day AP, Jamal Lewis, and Riggo.
I had Dickerson, Campbell, Dorsett, and Curtis Martin.
I started it off with number 1 overall pick Barry Sanders, Marcus Allen, Edgerrin James, and 1 Bo Jackson.
The commission's on the clock. Emmett Smith, Thurman Thomas, Jerome Bettis, and Ricky Waters.
I like that.
Lock it up.
And the Dawn Father with Walter Payton, Marshall Falk, Sean Alexander, and Frank Gore. Got to give an honorable mention to active Derrick Henry, by the way. He was close.
Yeah, so how about Terrell Davis didn't get picked?
He was my next pick.
Tiki Barber, Fred Taylor,
A lot of good guys
Clinton
up there.
Portis,
Joe Morris.
Steven Jackson, and Roger Craig.
That's who
how
I was
about
going to
Franco
mention.
Harris, too, by the way, since we had already mentioned him earlier in the podcast.
But he had mostly 70s, right?
Yes, but did he make it into the 80s or no?
Maybe
not.
Slightly, maybe.
Phil
feel
Ford had
like
a couple good years, too.
Best short career, Chris Johnson.
Another good player.
Franco Harris, getting back to him, did he play 1 year with Seattle?
Seattle, yes, that's where he finished his career.
Rocker
That's
said it.
No,
Pay attention. Jeez.
I was working on a future segment in the other room.
Jeez. All right, so with the Mount Rushmore, if we're going to go just 4 of those guys, definitely Barry. I would say definitely Sweetness.
I would agree.
I would say definitely Emmett Smith. I know you guys aren't liking that one. Who would our 4th guy be?
Dickerson, probably.
Campbell, Falk.
I would go. I would not put Smith in. believe it or
LT.
not. I would go for Campbell myself, but
I like Falk or LT.
Are you guys down on Emmett because of the offensive line and just
Compiler.
a ton of weapons around
Championships.
him? Yeah.
So we're going Sanders,
I mean,
Peyton, right? Have we
Sanders
agree
and
with that?
Peyton,
Yeah.
We gotta come
nobody,
up- we gotta come
nobody
up
could
with two more.
dispute that. I would nominate Dickerson.
All right, we're going to move forward here. We're going to throw this to the studio audience and see what they come up with by the end of the episode. And we're moving on.
It's time for Who'd You Rather?
Our Who'd You Rather for this week, dear to our hearts, especially Jeffy's, big Uconn hoop fan. Who's a better team, the 99 national champion Uconn Huskies or the 2004 squad? Commish.
All right, I'm going to start by saying I went into this thinking 2004 all the way. The more research I did, I started leaning towards 99. 99 lost 2 games all year by a combined 5 points. 2004 lost 6 games, which is surprising to me what a good team they were. They were really, really good. On paper, 2004 is better. Intangibles and Rip Hamilton, I give it the 99.
Funny, half the people here went to 99 after the Central Eastern game last night, so nice.
Wow, that's a nice segue, Donfather. That's good.
We worked on that all day.
It's tough to dispute the 99. What a fun team, and the first one for UConn. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go the 04 team that won it all. They weren't really challenged in the NCAA tournament at all, except for that game against Duke in the Final Four. You guys all remember.
Oh,
I
my
think
goodness.
UConn was down 8 with about 3 minutes to go. Okafor had done nothing
2
all
fouls in the
game
first
long.
half.
Yeah.
We set them.
I think he had about 18 points in the second half. I don't believe he scored in the first half. And then the finals against Georgia Tech, it was never a game. I know the final outcome was only 9 points, but it never felt like it was ever in doubt. I think it was a 15 to 22 point spread the whole way. But what was interesting, on that team alone, they had 7 guys get drafted over a 2-year span. So we all remember Okafor and Gordon, by far their best 2 players, but Villanueva got drafted, Hilton Armstrong, Marcus Williams, Josh Boone, Denham Brown, not to mention Talik Brown was a great point guard for them, and Rashad Anderson. It's just a deep, talented team. So I'll go 04.
And Rashad went off in that tournament, too. He had
Yeah.
a great. So
Yeah.
Talik had a great tournament, too.
Yep.
The funny thing was that first half against Duke, when Emeka went to the bench, he brought in Charlie and Hilton, who were NBA guys.
Right.
You know, that's a deep, deep team.
Yep.
Yeah, seven NBA players is pretty incredible. So looking at this, I actually had a lot of fun researching this last night. We're just bringing back memories from where you watched some of the games. I know I watched it with you guys, a lot of the games. The 99 team, which I guess didn't get enough credit during the year because Duke had lost 1 game the whole season too and was supposed to be a huge favorite going into the finals. They lost their first game in February, and they played without Hamilton in the game, their best player, who had a sprained ankle, and Calhoun was under the weather. And then they lost their one other game. They lost to Miami at home, and they were missing 3 regulars. Hamilton, again, didn't play in that one.
Fosco.
So,
Wow, that's how close they were to a perfect season.
yeah,
huh?
so they lost 2 games, and you're looking at it, they only had 3 NBA players. Hamilton, Voskel, and Elamine were all drafted, but looking at the Big East tournament, I mean, they barely beat Seton Hall in the first round, and then they just annihilated Syracuse, who's a top 20 team, St. John's, who was
Easy.
ranked 10th in the country. And then in the NCAA tournament, I mean, the first round it was like an exhibition, and they beat Iowa, Gonzaga, Ohio State, and then they beat the unbeatable Duke team. Phenomenal. If you're just looking at teams, I think the 04 team might have had better players, but if you're picking a better team, I would lean towards 99. And again, they lost 2 games.
Were
2
they-
games is incredible.
What were they ranked preseason 99? I don't know.
That's the one thing I couldn't find. I think they were around 10.
Well, in '98, didn't they lose to Carolina in the Elite Eight?
Yeah, Elite 8.
So I
With
mean,
Vince
they
Carter,
brought
Jameson.
back most of that team. I would have assumed they were preseason very highly
The
ranked.
04 team was ranked number 1 out of the gate.
Go ahead.
I want to just quick say that with the Duke team, had they lost to Duke in '99,
Yeah.
we'd be talking about Duke as an all-time great team, maybe the best in college basketball history, maybe Duke's best for sure.
Yeah, you remember Leitner's comments before the national championship game too? He was on CBS saying that Duke wins by 10 easy.
Yeah?
How'd that work out, Christian?
I think that was the
Stay hot.
spread, though. Wasn't that around the
Yeah,
spread?
it was.
Stay hot. How'd it feel carrying all that luggage on a dream team? Don Father, what do you
First
think?
of all, Jay, they squeaked by Syracuse. They didn't blow by Syracuse. They squeaked by Syracuse. And me picking this is like whether rather get hit by a bus or by a train.
Wait, listen. They beat Syracuse beat UConn without Hamilton.
What happened? Hold on.
and
Who beat
Kelvin.
who?
Syracuse.
Okay,
that was
that's
the
enough.
first
Your
thing.
segment's over. Put
So,
his mic
no,
on.
listen. You're going to throw. You want to get some real stuff. In the Big East semifinals, they beat them by 21. That's a squeak by a 21-point victory.
There was foul shots at the end of the game. They were having the foul line.
21 of them.
They were in the double bonus after 4 minutes.
Was Bernie Fine on staff? That's a yes.
definitely.
It's a great question.
Definitely.
And for UConn, I mean, you mentioned the 7 folks that got drafted. Not only that, they had the number 2 and number 3 draft picks overall. It wasn't like they had guys that got drafted in the late second round. Number 2 and number 3 draft picks overall.
Player of the year,
They were number 1 preseason, right? So they
Yes.
were the hunted all season long. That's the first time they ever really been the hunted, where everybody had to take. That was the biggest game of the year on the calendar for every team other than Syracuse. So I mean that's why I give more credit to the 04 team from day one. Mac, you got to break the tie here.
All right. You got to go 99. And, you know, the NBA guys, that's just an interesting nugget there. But I like the 99 team for similar to what Jay was saying, is they had mucked it up with some rugged guys, too. And, you know, they had their centerpieces, and Hamilton being the most important one. By the way, Hamilton, I just love him because he didn't just pig out for threes. You know, mid-range, complete package on offense. But Kevin Freeman, rugged. Ricky, you know, Mooring, Saunders and Wayne coming in hammering people, and even old Antrick if you needed to go down that far.
Game, yeah.
Ross Jones too, right?
Ross Jones out of Trinity Catholic. Out of Trinity Catholic. But even when they were down against Duke, I don't know if you remember the play where Sanders and Wayne kind of doubled up on Elton and knocked it loose, big putback. They were tough. I mean, that to me it just reminds me and was the portrait of a Big East team is tough, rugged, and they win at the end of the day. So I'm going to go 99, not to disparage 2004. I mean,
So one game, 2004 versus 99. You take 99. One
absolutely,
game?
absolutely.
I'd love to watch it.
Yeah.
I'd pay to see that one.
Hey, is Richard Hamilton the second best Husky of all time?
Ooh. Are you going Ray first?
I'm going Ray first.
I was going Charter Oak.
Actually,
yet.
I might go Okafor. I'm not sure.
Okafor
Either
was
or.
ranked number 1 in
Either
was
or.
it Bleacher Report? Did the top 10 UConn players? Okafor is ranked number 1.
Yeah, I'd say Hamilton.
All right, that's for another day, guys. Kevin Freeman wore 2 jersey numbers. What were they?
15 and
33.
Yep. Okay, which player was a better player, the one who wore number 15 or 33?
15.
15, 33 never went in the paint.
Yeah, he wanted to make threes or something like that. Hey, he took a shot at it, whatever.
Well, I did love Kevin Freeman, though.
Yeah, me
too.
too.
How could
He
you
was assistant coach for a while.
Yeah,
too, right?
he might be even kicking around the program now. I don't know if
I think he was there when Ollie was there. Yeah.
skinny CC or not so skinny CC.
Oh, not so. Not so. He was
Not
a stud.
so was with the Yanks.
Yeah.
Skinny was with Cleveland, right?
No, he dropped a bunch for the Yankees.
Yeah, but that was. He
when
had
he
some
went on the
other stuff.
wagon, I
He had
think.
some other
Yeah.
stuff going on.
I like it when you can tell he had a nice supper because he had put that butt
2009
behind that fastball.
Yeah, 2009 CC.
The big one, yeah. Sure.
What's a funnier George Brett reaction to the pine tar incident or him telling the story about having diarrhea?
I'm good twice a year for that.
The Pine Tar one was crazy. I'll go with that one because I remember watching the game.
Don't forget about the hemorrhoid commercials, too.
Oh, those are classic.
How if George Brett did that in today's baseball? How long is his suspension? Because he didn't miss any games, by the way.
Remember in that playoff game when him and Nettles got in a fight at third base
yeah.
and neither one got thrown
They
out?
kept playing, right?
Yeah.
Play on.
Play on.
Break it up, guys.
Rambus McHale, play on.
Puff.
Captain Puff.
Guys, I'm not getting good answers here. Make sure you answer. What was funnier, his reaction to the, what do you call it? The
I said
pine tar?
Pine Tar.
I
I'll
went
say
with
the
Pine Tar.
Pine tar.
Okay.
All-time reaction.
Asteroids or Space Invaders?
Asteroids all day. I used to turn that thing over 1,000,000 times.
I liked Space Invaders.
I got to go Asteroids. More skill involved.
Oh, I thought Space Invaders was way more difficult. I got to go
Once that
Space
ship
Invaders.
started taking off in asteroids, though, you couldn't stop it with the joystick. It's
Yeah,
so
you're
Spinning
right.
around, you get a headache. It was spinning around. I mean, come on.
All right, TCU, Michigan, coming up.
Interesting.
Big Blue.
Burnser, what do you think?
I'm going Michigan. People don't like Harbaugh, but his players do.
Minus 7.5. Big Blue. I like him.
Big Blue.
I like him
think
winning
Michigan
cover.
wins easily. Yep.
Studio audience.
Big Blue. Big Blue in the studio. Yeah, he's still-
Wow, pulling Michigan in the
You got
studio,
Bob.
so it's TCU all day. Who's in the other one? Ohio State,
Bama, Ohio State. I
Georgia.
Mean, Bama,
Georgia,
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Who we like?
What's the spread?
I'll go Georgia,
6.5.
but I wouldn't be shocked if it goes the other way. But I'll take Georgia.
I'd be shocked if it went the other way. I think Georgia rolls, but I'm usually wrong.
I'm going Georgia too. I think they rolled their second straight national
A
title.
month to prepare. You
Georgia.
never know.
So definitely Ohio State, right?
Nah, Uga, Herschel Walker, baby.
What's he been up to lately?
Zach Wilson or Baker? One drive to win the game.
Bake.
We saw it here after a couple weeks ago. It's got to
Yeah.
be Baker.
Zach Wilson's going to be on another team next year.
So
after
will
2
Baker.
years.
Baker's going to be
That's
on his
okay.
fifth. And
I mean, I'd take Zach Wilson for the drive if his mom's in the back seat, but, you know.
Jesus, Jeff. I'll take Baker.
family show here, Jeff.
Again, I'll just say the same thing I said a couple weeks ago. I'll take Baker just because Wilson looks like he lost in straight sets to Serena Williams. Can't take him seriously.
I go Bake. Testaverde or Kozar?
I'm going Bernie. I loved him.
Bernie,
I actually like
three
him.
AFC championship games. Bernie,
How many did he win?
you got the 3 championship games. The drive and the fumble were not his fault.
How many did he win? That was the question.
What do you got, Don Father?
I like Vinny. Much better arm, much more commanding force at the helm.
Bernie just for the hair.
Aren't they almost the same guy?
Neither one of them could move.
I'm taking Bernie.
Didn't Testaverde have wasn't he colorblind too? Not even.
No, that's
Did-
all the Browns quarterbacks. All right.
Didn't they bring that up though? Wasn't he?
I got obscure quarterback one popped into my head. Steve DeBerg, David Craig.
Oof.
They're B quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Oh, they're definitely.
I'm going with Dave Craig.
I think I am too. I think he was a starter for a lot longer. It seemed like the Berg was always coming off the bench a little bit.
I'm gonna go DeBerg only because Craig, I believe, has the most career fumbles in NFL history.
I'll go with Craig despite the fumbles.
Steve Largent.
Steve DeBerg, baby.
Yep. I'll go Dave Craig. Easy. Christmas time. White lights or colored lights?
Colored.
White.
White.
For ambiance, I'm going white. For the kids, color.
Johnny, a man of the people. I ever mentioned that
No blinking lights though.
the commish
No, no
applied
white light.
to be Major League Baseball commissioner? We have proof in the studio. I got to go white lights. Usual Suspects, Mystic River.
No brainer.
I love both movies.
Never saw Mystic River, so I'm going Usual Suspects.
Oh, you would love it.
I'll go Mystic River. I like Sean Penn.
I got to go Usual Suspects. That lineup scene was one of the best scenes in movie history.
Good scene.
I'm going to go
That's
with
a
Mystic
stretch.
Pizza. I mean, Mystic River. Good Irish angle to that.
Yep.
Mystic River all day. Who's hotter in general? The guy who turned down $3 million for Aaron Judge's ball and now is not going to get nearly that, or Cash?
Well, the guy that got the 1.5 million because Cash doesn't do anything.
I'm going with Cash, man. He just signed Judgy. Come on, give the guy his flowers.
Yeah.
I'm not giving Cash anything. It's the same team, so I'll go with the guy that lost $1.5 million
Hey, he
on the
caught
ball.
a ball. He got a 1.5 million. That guy's hotter.
Yeah. $1.5 million loss? Take that guy all day over Cash. All right. Who has better, or what would you take? Patriot late game time management or Cash?
That Patriot stuff is hilarious.
That-
the last 2 weeks.
that-
that is hilarious.
That loss against the Raiders was like one of the worst losses of all time.
First
it was
and then
comical.
first and goal last week.
Yeah.
Burp.
It was the best 2 weeks of my NFL fandom watching what happened to the Patriots.
Me too. And by the way, Belichick and Brady, I don't know who took them for their tandem. Belichick's a clown. Belichick's a clown.
Yeah, because you and I were talking. He's 10 games under 500 in his career as a coach without Brady.
Go Browns.
That's why they're a good duo.
Did I mention that this next segment, brought to you by Skygazer Brewing, did anyone see Luca against the Knicks?
Oh my gosh.
Loddy, did you see it?
I saw it. They were up 9 with 27 seconds to go. It's humanly impossible to lose that game, but the Knicks did it. They gave up a 60 piece.
How hot was their
60
defense there?
piece.
Did you see the last foul shot?
Yeah, that was incredible. Thibodeau is a defensive coach, by the way. Just remember that.
Triple-double, 60 and 22 he had for rebounds, right? Unbelievable.
21, right?
So that's the state of the Knicks. How great did the Celts look on Christmas Day?
Yeah, they've been up and down though. They hit a stretch where they lost back to back to the Magic.
I know, but angry. They don't. When do they want to win?
Yeah, you
They want to win in the summer.
Yep.
And they'll be ready for it.
They're on a collision course again with Milwaukee to come out of the East.
Yeah,
They have 3 more wins than anybody else in the NBA. Even with that horrible 3-game losing streak, back-to-back Magic. 3 more wins than anybody.
Who's the best team in the
NBA?
West?
The
Is there one?
Grizzlies or the Nuggets?
I would
think they're
say
tied for first.
I would say Memphis is a little more talented.
Is Memphis becoming unlikable, or are you guys into
Yeah,
the Ja stuff? But man, there's always something going on down
Yeah,
there,
they,
right?
they do a lot of talking.
Yeah, for not doing anything
By
yet.
the way,
Clay doesn't like it.
Christmas Day, by the way, the Celtics-Bucks, highest NBA game, 6 million viewers. For NFL, it was 26 million for Packers-Miami.
Always
Man.
gonna be that way. NFL.
Tatum is shooting up like the player rankings, right? I mean, where do you think he is?
I think they said he's
Yeah,
number
top
2 in the
3?
MVP
Okay.
voting behind Luka right now.
Man, I used to get annoyed by that step back. I don't care what shot he takes now. He's awesome.
How much better has Jalen Brown gotten?
Jeez.
They got some players. Robert Williams helps too.
I know we talked about this 3 or 4 years ago. You thought maybe those guys weren't going to be able to coexist. I think they're doing all right.
I think now with the Time Lord back, I think the defense and offense are kind of even each other out. They were all offense. Now, offense, I think, is ranked 3rd. Defense has now come up to top 10, and they were like 18th.
Yeah.
So.
Those guys want to win a title. They're going to do what they
Not
need
to
do.
mention Marcus would whoop him into shape if they tried any selfish nonsense.
Freshly engaged, Marcus Smart. Christmas
All
Day.
right. We're going on to the Big Blue Report. A lot happening since we last met in Uconn basketball country. Not really.
No, we
Come
haven't
in.
really.
What do you got?
All right, some odds and ends. I don't know if you guys saw that Kevin Durant wore some Uconn sneakers the other day. Players only exclusive sneakers, the white with the national flag blue and red, the Husky logo on them. Durant took a visit to Uconn. Chose Texas, but he was at Uconn.
I didn't know that. Did he,
He did,
actually
yes,
visit?
he did. Yeah, official visit.
Were you working for the
I don't-
board
I
at that
don't-
time?
I must have been, but I don't remember writing about that. But I forget a lot of things nowadays. On the football path, Victor Rose, 11 touchdowns, the most by a Husky since 2010. Great season for him. Donovan reports that Donovan had 2 teeth knocked loose in front in that Georgetown game. All he wants for Christmas is 2 front teeth, I guess. The line on the UConn-Villanova game tonight is 14.5, which I think is pretty big. Villanova's won 6 of the last 7 meetings. UConn had that 1 victory last year. St. Joseph's, Jim Calhoun's second team, a third team, I should say, ranked number 1 in Division III poll.
Really?
Yeah.
Glenn Miller.
Glenn Miller leading the way for them.
Big one against WPI coming up.
Yeah, that's all I got. We'll see what happens tonight with Villanova.
All right, pretty quiet on the Rutgers front too, but 8-4 should have a layup Friday night. Coppin State, although I think we've learned you never know. And then it gets real. Then
Yeah, the big one's on the second, right?
Then it's big time. You go number 1 Purdue, Maryland, Iowa, Northwestern, Ohio State rematch.
That's a gauntlet, that league.
Yeah,
Wow.
tough league. But 8-4, hopefully 9-4 at the turn here, and then as we said, it's go time.
I agree. I'm ready to see it. I love conference play. Like, let's get to the new year and let's see some good games.
Basketball.
Yeah, you know what? I'm fired up though. They seem like they're whole for a second. Knock on wood. I hope they can stay that way majority of the season.
Bobby Mack, game on the line, shot clock running down, game clock running down. Who we want taking the shot for Rut?
McConnell, onions.
Okay.
I don't think he's the best shooter. I think he's got the most onions, and he's not afraid to miss it.
Mm-hmm.
You? Unless
Yeah.
you count like a 4-footer from Cliffy, like a little hook.
No,
Or
I
one of
guess-
those freakish dunks.
I understand what you're saying. I guess my question is, who are they running the play? Like, what's the design? Who are they going to?
Well, unless Edie's in the game, I think you got to somehow get that ball on the block and let Cliff do one of those oddly athletic dunks.
That's where I'm going. Yep.
Okay. Not a bad dilemma. All right. Huskies playing Villanova tonight. But we're going to move to football. And we're going to move to everybody's favorite segment, the Don Father and his fantasy picks. Now, listeners, brought to you by Skygazer Brewing again. The Don Father last week said to start Daniel Jones. Not a big start for a lot of people, but Don Father did his research and he knew, and Daniel Jones went off.
He made a lot of people some money.
Yeah, he also picked Jared Goff. And,
I'm weaving right now.
He did.
He said, "Don't play Jared Goff."
He had like a hundy.
I think I said don't bench Jared Goff. You might have listened to me.
Yeah.
He had like a hundy, Don Father. No, Don Father's 90% of the time he works all the time. Don Father, go.
Hey, we were talking about the NFL running back series. We got a few people here. Derrick Henry is one of 5 running backs to have 2 rushing touchdowns of over 90 yards. Who are a couple of the others?
I'll go Chris Johnson.
Oh, awesome. Great call. One of the others was mentioned tonight. He was a nominee.
Tony Dorsett.
Falk.
No, nominee. Huh.
He was your nominee, Angry Jay.
Vincent Edward Jackson.
Bo Jackson. It's going to be 2 more. One you might guess, one you won't in a million years not guess. And he just stopped playing about, I think, a couple of years ago. Played for the Dolphins and like 4 other teams. I'm going to give you his first name, then I'll roll into the second name. Lamar Miller.
Lamar Miller.
Two
Who's a
90
Texan
yard.
too, right?
Yep. And the last one, NFC, played for the Packers.
Ahman Green.
Ding, ding, ding. Ahman Green.
Wow.
Pretty frightening when you think of the list. You got Derrick Henry, then you got Bo Jackson, you got Lamar Miller all on
I
the
would
same
have
list.
never gotten Lamar Miller. No.
We got a lot of NFL going on this weekend. It's an awesome slate of games. It's basically one game Thursday. Everything else is happening on Sunday. Then you got a Monday night game. And by the way, the Monday night game is Buffalo-Cincinnati. So people are going to end their fantasy seasons with an absolute bonanza on Monday night because it's probably going to be the highest scoring game of the week with the exception of maybe Chicago and Detroit. That's everybody in that game. There's probably going to be 8 fantasy players people have in that game when they're in their fantasy finals. This is fantasy finals weekend. Next weekend, we might not even do fantasy football. Who knows? Most leagues end this week. Not a lot of guys have guys playing right now. So we got a few other notes. I got another trivia question, Mac. I got to run it before we go up because we mentioned a couple running backs before. So Foreman and Hubbard each had 100 yards before halftime last week. I don't know if you knew that. Each had 100 yards before halftime last week.
Yeah.
Only one other duo in NFL history both had 100 yards in the first half of a game.
Herschel and Dorsett.
No, I mean good running backs.
Oh, here we go.
Wow, is this recent or are we talking like Jim Taylor?
No, it was
era?
in the 2000s.
I was going to say your boy Kevin Mack and the other guy.
Biner and Mack, yeah, but they weren't playing together in the
In the
90s.
2000s?
In the 2000s. I can give you the year if you want.
Yeah.
2006.
That narrows it down.
How else should I phrase the year?
The year of the Lord, 2006.
All right, give us the team, man. Enough's enough.
Jags.
Freddie Taylor and
Jones Drew.
Yes, sir. Freddie Taylor and MJD.
terrible job by all of us. Go ahead.
Dumpster fire of the week. Should be obvious after Christmas Day. The Broncos. I mean, my Lord. 51-14 against the Baker Mayfield-led Rams. The Rams scored 55 points in the month of November. They scored
It's
51.
because Bake wasn't the quarterback yet.
I don't disagree with that.
Denver put up a -3 in points allowed.
Your guy.
Yeah, for
Fantasy,
fantasy.
yeah.
My son played them, and he was distraught after that. Russell Wilson had the second lowest QBR of the entire season. His rating was a 3.5 QBR, lowest of second lowest of the entire fantasy season to Kyle Allen, who had a 3. Just awful. I mean, the Broncos, Russ, 3 picks. He was bad. It was pretty easy this week. There was a lot of candidates. Had some crazy endings, but I ended up going with Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. rolling into hopefully your fantasy finals this week. So good luck, all of you who are still here. Again, no point to go over quarterbacks who nobody's going to play. This week, start Justin Fields. He hasn't had a good week in a couple weeks. He was a little dinged up. He needs about 200 yards for the all-time rushing record for quarterbacks. And he's playing against the Lions, who allow the most points to fantasy quarterbacks. His last game against the Lions, he had 147 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Does that again, he's 60 yards off, so they're going to feed him the ball. Coach already said we're not shutting him down. He's playing through Week 18, so go with Justin Fields. And I'm flip-flopping on last week and going with Jared Goff. Watch it probably bite me again. But he dominates at home, and Chicago allows over 22 fantasy points a game to quarterbacks, 5th in the NFL. So look for that game's going to be a shootout, by the way. I think Detroit and Chicago going to be a lot of points scored in that game. You're going to bench Geno Smith. I've loved Geno this year. Great story, possible comeback player of the year. But they have an implied total of 20 points. The Seahawks, Jets are 4th in pass defense, averaging only 190 yards a game. So you want to have to sit Geno. And the other player...
College for Geno?
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
John Denver in the house.
The other guy, again, should be playing Deshaun Watson in the fantasy finals, but people like to take flyers on a guy because he can run. Don't.
He stinks.
He stinks.
How about Amari Cooper or David Njoku catches a touchdown pass last week? My God.
Deshaun's not throwing him to anybody.
Did you see the conditions in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That and the Pittsburgh game, the conditions were crazy, too. It was fun to watch. Deshaun Bencham. Washington's only allowed one quarterback to get more than 18 points since Week 3. That was Jalen Hurts for Angry Jay over there. They don't allow points to quarterbacks, so Bencham. Running backs, start the Terminator. He's on fire. Colt McCoy is playing this week, which is good for you Hollywood Brown owners, because McSorley was not throwing the ball downfield at all. Hollywood Brown gets
Hopkins
downfield.
had 1 catch.
I mean, Colt McCoy is a clear upgrade. If I can say that ever in the NFL right now, McCoy's an upgrade. Connor's going to get a lot of checkdowns. He had, 30 points, I think, last week. So a throw to him. I pick him up. And then Tyler Algier. He's actually available in 38% of all fantasy leagues. He has 40 fantasy points the last 3 games. Playing against Arizona, who's allowed 40 points the last 3 games. They've handed in the season. So I'm going to look to start Algier. Running back your bench and Najee. He's playing against Baltimore. They've only allowed 3 running backs to get 80 yards. Najee won't be the 4th. And I'm going to sit Josh Jacobs this week. Top 3 fantasy player of the year. He's a little gimpy. He's played against the Niners, who just don't let anybody run against him. And who's the starting quarterback for the Raiders now?
Jared Stidham.
Jared Stidham. Unbelievable punt on the
Angry Jay
season.
took Jacobson as Mount Rushmore, but go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
I didn't take him.
Oh, there's Raiders you didn't take?
No,
Okay.
the guy Allen, the guy that won Heisman trophies and Hall of Fames and stuff.
Couldn't even start.
Throwing some wide receivers out there to wrap it up. Allen Lazard against Minnesota. Christian Watson may be out. Take a look at that. 49 over-under. And Minnesota allows number 1 points to fantasy running backs. Drake London, again, he's going to be a stash or RB3, wide receiver 3 for some folks. Arizona's allowing 29 points a game to receivers. London's getting 34% of their targets from Desmond Ridder. That's a huge number. So look at starting Drake London. I also like Jerry Jeudy just because he's on fire. Russell Wilson stinks, so he throws to him a lot. Sitting Adam Thielen. Why? He's not that good, but he's caught 4 for 47 his last 2 games combined. So you want to stay away from him. And Brandon Ayuk, single digits, 3 of the last 4. And Purdy checks down to everybody. That's why Kittle is going off right now. He doesn't throw the ball more than 15 yards downfield.
Can you throw it to McCaffrey, please?
Mac, I like your boy Dalton Schultz this week. Big week for a tight
Schultz.
end. Tennessee is awful against the pass. They might be resting their entire... They said they're going to rest all their prominent defensive starters because the game means absolutely nothing against Jacksonville. So,
What happened at Tennessee, huh?
That's 6 in a row.
They're just falling off a cliff.
yeah, they had a playoff spot clinched.
Got
and now
rid
they got
of
to
the
win.
GM in the middle of the year.
7-2 to 7-8.
It's like the Jets. Same thing. Not good.
I got to wrap up with one last trivia question, Mac. Brock Purdy, through his first 3 starts, 3rd highest QBR ever at 121. Who are the 2 quarterbacks, by the way, both in the last 20 years, who had higher starts to their career in the first 3 starts, higher QBRs than 121? One playing now, one not playing now.
So you're saying Bobby Hoying is not one of them?
Bobby Hoying is not. One is on the NFL Network, wearing his puffer jackets all the time.
Oh, Kurt Warner?
Yep. He is one. He is the number
Herbert.
2 highest. That would have been my guess, but no. Come on, Kamish, fire a guess out there. He's probably the best quarterback in the NFL.
Patty?
Patty M. Highest QBR.
Man, that's quite a hint.
through
Godfather, that's
3
quite a hint.
Well, I know. We're time is
He's
limited
getting
here.
impatient with us.
Jeez.
I can't keep feeding these things.
Just because you picked golf? I mean, it wasn't that
Don't be
bad.
mad at us.
Mac, back
Jeez.
to you.
All right. We'll wrap it up with some NFL picks. This last segment brought to you by Skygazer Brewing. And I'm going to start with mine, and I'm taking the Vikings. Given 3 division game on the road means a ton to both teams. I just got to believe they're better than the Packers, although Rodgers, every year, they stink, and then somehow at the end,
got 'em in the
he
mix at
rallies
least.
them. Now the defense is playing hard for him. He's made these receivers like from scratch. I mean, who are these guys? And the running game's solid, but I gotta think the Vikings are better than them. Kamish, what do you like?
The commission was riding a 2-game winning streak, but lost last week, taking the Seahawks. I hope to rebound with the Patriots -3 against the Dolphins.
Kamish,
Angry, what do you got?
Donfather crossing things out.
I think I'm about doing as well as Mike Vrabel the last few weeks. I think I got like a 4 or 5 game losing streak. I'm taking Seattle at home, getting a 1.5 versus the New York Jets. Lockett may play again this week.
Even after I said bench Geno Smith?
That's right.
Boy, Angry Jay.
You said-
Because you said bench Geno Smith.
Sauce?
It's #1 shutdown corner, defensive rookie of the year.
I've been doing really bad on this lately. I'm going Washington -2.5 at home against the dog pound. Number 1, I can't stand Watson. Number 2, Washington needs the win to stay in the mix. Right now, I think they're the last playoff team in
They
the
are.
NFC. And how about the guy Heineke? He gets them back into the race, right? We're going Wentz this weekend.
Have you seen Heineke play the last few weeks?
I know, but he was doing well for a few weeks. I know he played poorly last week, but they're going back to Wentz. I'll take the -2.5 at home.
Okay.
All right, Bob, I'm going to wrap.
Standings?
Taking Kansas City -12.5.
Oof, big number.
By the way, did you see last week? Know how many of us got our picks right?
None of us, probably.
Because Big Shot Mac said, I don't care about the Cowboys. I'm going to give 6.
I know. I pushed it. I pushed. Everyone knew what I meant by that, though.
No.
I mean, you
I
can't
had no
do
idea
that.
What you meant. I had no idea what you meant.
You can't
4
call
and
up
1.
your friend that you talk sports with and say, I'd like to add
On the
points
payphone,
on a tracker phone. All right. Anyway,
the burner.
Jeffy, we got standings?
No, Loddy won. He's uncatchable. He's 2 games up on me.
Oh, even as bad as I've been?
2 games up on me and 2.5 games up on you because I gave you a tie for last week.
What am I, 3
Well,
back?
we could push, Loddy.
Okay.
Okay, this is going to wrap up the new year. Go Scarlet Knights, go Huskies, go Cowboys, Super Bowl champs. Stay hot, Cash. Who's hotter, Vrabel or Cash?
Cash is still hotter.
Always cash.
Daniel Snyder or Cash? Did I say that one before?
Anybody but Cash.
Tim Burns or Cash?
Jim Burns.
Stay hot, Burnser.
Burnser, who's going to win the college football playoff? Who's going to win? Georgia? Go Dogs? All right.
You heard it. Georgia's not winning. Okay. Wrapping up December 28th. This whole episode brought to you by Skygazer Brewing. See you next week, everybody.
Happy New
Stay
Year.
safe. Happy New Year.
Go Yanks.